let's say we're going to be in quarantine for another like 2 months or so, or 60 days. Well, God forbid, but let's just say that's going to happen, right? There are 926 episodes of this series, and if you divide that by 60, you get 15.43 reoccurring. So let's just round that down to 15 episodes a day, which, bear in mind, there's a lot of filler to that you can skip as well. So if you can fit 15 episodes in a day, there are 3 episodes that you can fit in an hour. Bear in mind, there's a lot of skippable content in each episode, about 3 to 5 minutes worth, or maybe even more. If you divide 15 divided by 3, you get 5 hours. So after doing, let's say, 8 hours of work, and maybe you have a couple hours to eat, and obviously the 8 hours to sleep, you can definitely find those 5 hours somewhere. There is now no excuse for you not to be watching One Piece. Why One Piece is great. One Piece is a Shonen Jump title written by Eiichiro Oda, which is about the world of pirates. In this story, there's a great pirate called Gol D. Roger who's about to be executed, and he tells the whole world, well, before he dies, that there's this great treasure called the One Piece that's left on a distant island. And if you get this treasure, you as a pirate is called the King of the Pirates. A young boy named Monkey D. Luffy, who has eaten this fruit called the Devil Fruit, which has given him powers to be 100% a rubber man, has now got his sights set on becoming the King of the Pirates and in turn finding the One Piece. If I was to describe what One Piece is, I would say it's probably, well, it is the biggest manga ever made, and it's just ridiculously huge in popularity, especially in Japan. One Piece is one of those shows which is also part of the big 3, which was Bleach, Naruto, and, One Piece. And in my opinion, it's the best one out of all 3, even though I would say that the biggest one, well, in the West was Naruto. So that was always an interesting competition between all 3, but Bleach lost, well, until now. And One Piece and Naruto was always pretty much reigning kings, even though I heard that One Piece's sales, like the sales of One Piece is pretty ridiculous. I mean, they have not been beaten in manga sales for like, I believe it was 10 years until Demon Slayer came out. So you can tell how impressive this series is and how popular it is in Japan. If Akira Toriyama would be the godfather of shonen, I would say that Eiichiro Oda is definitely the father of shonen currently, right now. He has written something spectacular, and when this show ends or manga ends, it will go down in one of the greatest in history. And I'm not even joking, the show is amazing. Obviously, this is a video called Why It's Great, so I'm going to tell you why One Piece is great and why you should be watching it ASAP. First things first, I'm going to start off with the characters. Eiichiro Oda has made some crazy characters in this series. They are so unique that you could tell that you cannot find these characters in any other source material. The way they're drawn, the way their powers are, the way they even act, the way they even speak is so quirky and so over the top, and it is so artistic and it's so great to see. So our main character is called Monkey D. Luffy, and as I said before, he's 100% a rubber man. You can say that he's a lot like Goku in a sense, with the fact that they're super happy all the time, they eat a lot of food, they fight when they need to fight, etc. And obviously a lot of shonen protagonists were based around Goku. But what makes Luffy so special is that he has that not giving a flying F attitude that I love in pretty much every situation. It makes him worthy of him being a captain. Also, he's just a funny dude. He always just wants to have fun all the time, and you, in this world with all these weird quirky characters, of course you may as well have some fun with it. So Luffy has a crew called the Straw Hat Pirates, and this is the main crew and the protagonist crew of the whole series. whereby, well, I'm not going to go into spoiler territory, so I'm only going to mention the early characters, which are Zoro, the pirate hunter, Nami, who becomes the navigator, Usopp, and Sanji. These guys and the other characters that join the crew are all so lovable. Each of them have their own traits, quirks, personalities. Each of them are also useful in their fights as well. They all have their own different powers and skill sets in order to overcome challenges. And also they all have uses for being on the crew and working with the ship. For example, Nami is a navigator who helps them go through the whole Grand Line in order to get to One Piece, which, you know, they haven't done because it's still going, but yeah. And another one would be Sanji, who is a cook who helps them cook food all the way across this journey. What I love about the Straw Hat Pirates as well is how strong their bonds are. And it's always so badass when they do something together because they all understand one another and what is right and what is just. They give you these dope manly ass moments when the Straw Hat crew just do some cool stuff and you just have to give them credit, man. You just want to just fist bump them like, god damn, what a G. That's the word I could describe them, G moments. Like, I don't want to say them because they're spoilers, but there are so many in this show, and it even starts from the earliest parts of this series. Especially do with Luffy or any Straw Hat, they always have their chance to shine and show why they should be taken seriously as a character, whether it be what they do or also their backstories. Oda does a lot of backstories so well, and you always feel for the characters whenever you see their backstories. There was some that I even teared up. Honestly, I'm a man, but I'll admit I teared up to some of these backstories because they were just that deep. I could go on and on about the Straw Hat Pirates, and there's a lot more depth that I'm missing, but this video will take forever, so there's a lot to talk about with this series. So the main antagonists in this series, well, there's one that I don't want to spoil who is a big antagonist, but another one would be the Navy. As you know, being a pirate is illegal, so there has to be some sort of cop-style justice system in this world, and that happens to be the Navy. The Navy's motivations and whether the Navy is good or bad is always played off in this show, and it's always interesting to see how they act, especially to any situation that has to do with the big heavy hitting pirates. What's so cool with this series is that usually a shonen protagonist, they reach a point where they're pretty much top tier, strongest in the series, but throughout this whole show Luffy has never been close to being the strongest person in the series. In fact, he never even hits like top 5 or even top 10. Characters are bloody strong in this show, and every time Luffy fights a different opponent, you always have that fear of, Jesus Christ, man, are you sure you're gonna win this? Because this guy is OP. What I think makes One Piece top tier is the world building that Oda does throughout this whole series. Every time something happens in the show, it affects the whole pirate world. And also in the world, right, things that you think wouldn't matter to the story always matter, like all the time. Like, bro, wind would blow and somehow it would be relevant towards the story. And I don't know how Oda for years has always been linking back old things to the new parts of the story. Every single island that the Straw Hats goes on has some sort of link to finding the One Piece, and Oda always goes back to every single island or things that mattered on those islands to connect to getting to the end of this journey. Like, to get to the current island right now, there were about, I think, 4 or 5 islands worth of content that you had to go to and link towards in order to get to this one. And it all makes sense when it connects. There are so many things that are happening in the world that it really feels like an actual world is in this show. And it always connects to the pirates and One Piece. Like, everything always connects. It's just so cool. If you want an adventure anime, I would say that One Piece is 100% the adventure anime. They go to different islands and there's always different activities, different characters, different like looks and feels of these islands. and every island you go on, you're just having fun, and it's so unique. And I give credit to Oda's drawing as well, because wow, he comes up with some crazy ideas with these characters. I've been getting more and more impressed, especially with the latest seasons of One Piece, especially in the manga as well, because Oda is really revealing some top level stuff in the manga right now, and it's just getting better and better right now. Like I can't believe he's gone almost 1,000 chapters and he's still being a goat in this manga. Like, my goodness. Now, in terms of the anime production, there is a little bit of controversy because, in my opinion, the anime production is almost perfect. And the reason why I say almost is that the problems with it are the pacing. And before this season, which is Wano, was the animation. The animation was tragic at times, I'm not even gonna lie to you. And the pacing is pretty dire, even though it's improved a bit nowadays, but wow, it was dire back in the days. I would crack a joke that you'd see Luffy breathing for like 3 minutes in an episode. With its current season and its current arc, they've improved a lot of the problems of One Piece, especially improving the animation towards the fight scenes. The fight scenes now look stunning, and I'm so happy that they finally got towards that level, because One Piece always had really good fights in terms of the meanings and, you know, the motivations of Luffy trying to win. But in terms of the fight scenes themselves, they would always feel like they should have added a little bit more towards the animation. And now we're starting to see that with this current season of One Piece. But if you were to ask me which is better between the manga and the anime, I would say the manga is a perfect 10 out of 10, but the anime is a 9.5. So the manga is clearly better. It's just that, you know, you don't get it in color and you don't get that beautiful music that they play in this show. Oh my days. The music is fire, especially when they're doing something like epic. Music is top tier, but I would still say that the manga is still superior compared to the anime. This is just a top level look of why One Piece is great. I mean, I could go on and on about why it's great, but I would advise you, it's better for you to just watch the series, because there are so many reasons why it's great. Whether it be the characters, the development, the world, the writing, the music, the action, the fight scenes, and man, even the flipping names. Do you know how many dope ass names there are in this series? I mean, Monkey D. Luffy, Porcus D. Ace, Gold D. Roger. Like, come on, the list goes on. There's so many things I can mention, but if I do, the video would be ridiculously long. Overall though, I think you're missing out if you're not watching One Piece. It's one of the greatest anime of all time. While you're at home and you're quarantining, just watch this series. Give it a try. Like, it's honestly really, really good. And before I used to say, oh, it takes till like episode 200 for it to get amazing. But in all honesty, looking back at the series, it's pretty amazing from like episode 1 or 2. Like, it's a flipping good watch. Anyway, so that's what I think of One Piece and why I think One Piece is great. Do you agree with me or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments section. I'm open to discussion. Please like and subscribe for more content. I post pretty regularly, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope you stay safe. All right, I'll see you later.